All right, now with the closed network test that just ended, I know everyone is fiending for some more Tekken 8 information. With that said, please welcome to the stage Katsuhiro Harada, Michael Murray, and Kasumi Yogi to tell us more.
Hey everybody at EVO, how's it going? All right, we love to hear it. All right, we have our Tekken 8 channel today, and joining us today are none other than the Tekken project director and producer, Katsuhiro Harada and Michael Murray. Gentlemen, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. But I'm so sleepy now. Because jet lag. I'm so sleepy.
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here to see this year's EVO, bigger and better than ever. So looking forward to some interesting matches this weekend.
Awesome, cool. So hopefully we can wake Harada-san up with some cool stuff that we have for you today regarding our closed network test that we just concluded last weekend. Let's take a look.
じゃあ始めましょう。
はい、そうですね。皆さん、鉄拳8のクローズドネットワークテスト、1週2週とあったんですけど、参加ありがとうございましたということで、はい。
So we just concluded the CNT test spread out over 2 weeks, and we'd like to thank everyone who participated.
Yes, so once again, everybody, thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for signing up, and thank you so much for participating. We got so much information that we are super excited to share with you all. We're going to give you a little bite-sized look right now.
で、今日と明日のこの2部制にパネルが分かれてて、で、ちょっと明日はさらにディープな、フィードバックの話とかはしようと思ってるんですけど、今日、簡単にこうクローズドネットワークテストで、どういう結果が得られて、あとちょっといくつか皆さんにも、今後どういうふうにちょっと考えていくかみたいなところを少し話したいなと思います。
So our panel is actually spread out over today and tomorrow. Today is going to be kind of an overview of some of the key findings that we think people might be interested in that we found out during the test, and also some of our thoughts on what we plan to do with that data. And then tomorrow we'll dive deeper into some of the more the nitty and gritty of the game, I guess you could say.
All right, cool. Let's get started with the first stats that we have for the closed network test. So the closed network test was conducted using the closed network test version of Tekken 8. Excuse me, sorry everybody. And through competitive online play, players were able to experience the new aggressive battle system, which represents the battle concept of Tekken 8. So can you guys tell us a little bit about what that aggressive battle system is?
そのアグレッシブなバトルシステムについてのそうですね。Sorry, I'm getting mixed up in English. So this time, we wanted to really focus on aggressive battle system, and the whole new design mechanics have been kind of tailored around that. The new heat system, which players can trigger at any time, once per round, which makes the character's abilities even stand out more and adds more depth to the individual elements that each character possesses. So that's one of the biggest main changes for this time in Tekken 8.
Cool. So we have some stats for you about the number of testers. Tell us about this number. What led you guys to choose this number and stuff like that?
そうですね。これ結構皆さん応募が非常に多くてですね、ここの表を見てもらえば分かると思うんですけど、大体、倍率が300% を超えてるみたいな状態で、結構外れちゃった人も多かったと思うんですけど、おかげさまでたくさんサンプルが取れました。ありがとうございます。
So you can see the number of applicants was quite a bit, and the people who actually got in is a smaller percentage of that. So you can see that it's overwhelmingly 300% applied in relation to how many slots were open. So we were able to gather a lot of useful data because so many people applied and got in.
Tell us a little bit about the different weekends, because obviously there may have been difference in participation due to the platforms that were used in week 1 versus week 2. So let's look a little bit at these stats.
データについて。
はい。これが、ウィーク1。ウィーク1はPS5 だけでやったテストで、ウィーク2は、全プラットフォームクロスプレイでやった時の、 まあ、データになりますというところで、これワイヤードといわゆる有線と Wi-Fi の、まあ、比率を見た、まあ、あと地域別で見た表になります。
So this is a kind of an interesting table of data. So keep in mind for people who don't know a lot about the CNT, the first week was PlayStation 5 only, and then the second week we opened it up to other platforms, Xbox and Steam. So this data shows the percentage of wired players and people who are playing on Wi-Fi with it broken down by area and region.
でまあ、もちろんね、皆さんご存知の通り、有線 LAN でやってもらった方が、非常にエラーもパケットロスも少なく遊べるんですけど、まあ、PS5 の時はだいたいやっぱり4割超えるぐらい、Wi-Fi が、のプレイヤーがいたってことになりますね。
So obviously, we don't need to tell everyone here at EVO that it's optimal to play on a wired LAN connection because of the packet loss and such that can occur on Wi-Fi. But when we're looking at the data, we can still see during the first week on PlayStation 5, you had a little bit more than 40% of people played on Wi-Fi.
でこっちのウィーク2になると一気に優先LANが増えてるように見えると思うんですよ。ただこれ実は、Steam 今回の要は PC が次世代機に対応しなきゃいけないということで割とみんなハイスペックの PC で遊ぼうとしてくれてたのか、まあ、ゲーミングノートの人もいるんですけどどっちかっていうと結構デスクトップの PC でやる人が多かったのでそれで優先率がこの PC によって引っ張られて上がってると。だから実際には実はウィーク2も PC を除けばウィーク1と同じぐらい Wi-Fi がいたんでコンソールユーザーは意外とやっぱり Wi-Fi 率が 40% 超えてるっていうのは変わらなかったですね。
Another interesting point to note is on week 2 when we opened up crossplay to all the different platforms, you see that Wi-Fi drops to like 24-25%, right? And this is not because it's the second week per se, but mainly because due to the Steam players on PC. And we have a hypothesis that a lot of people maybe have more higher end PCs as they're looking to play the game at a higher level of graphics this time around. So probably not on gaming notebooks as much as proper desktop. So as such, they're probably more likely to have a wired connection, right? So that said, it's not like PlayStation is the only one that's 40%. The correct way to look at it would be consoles in general tend to have a higher Wi-Fi usage percentage.
Does any of this Wi-Fi versus wired information affect anything regarding the development of the game itself? Or is this just general information that is just good for us to know?
はい、そうですね。今回ワイヤードと Wi-Fi のやっぱり、なんだろうね、快適さの違いって相当あったんですよ、実は。だから同じ、ピンの値でも、全くね、例えばピングの値は60ぐらいでかなりいいのに Wi-Fi なんか有線なんかで結構差が出てたのでそこはもうちょっと内部のパラメータをいじって Wi-Fi でも快適にしようというふうに、思ってます。まあ、ただやっぱりワイヤードにしてもらった方がよりベターなので、ぜひ皆さんこれを機会に次世代機せっかくいいマシンがあるのでワイヤードにしてもらえば他の格闘ゲーム含めて快適になりますよってことはお知らせしておきたいなと思います。
So, obviously, we were able to see firsthand as we were all playing the test at the time as well, how different it is when you have a wired connection compared to wireless, right, or Wi-Fi. So, obviously, it feels much more responsive when you have it playing on the LAN cable inserted, etc. And this is not just because of the ping, because the ping could be the same. It shows you in game, right? But it's because of the packet loss that occurs during Wi-Fi that makes the experience, less optimal on Wi-Fi. That said, we still really hope that most people try to play on a wired connection, but we still do hope to try to tweak the settings a little bit to try to cover up packet loss wherever we can.
Cool, that's awesome. So we noticed that when we're playing the test, there were two different icons that showed up. So we could tell the difference between someone who is playing on a wired connection versus someone who's playing on the Wi-Fi connection. Tell us a little bit about the intention behind that. What is the reason for that?
The indicator in game, you mean?
the wired connection versus Wi-Fi icon when you're connecting to somebody.
I can't hear you. What?
The network status display. Tell us a little bit about that.
Status display についてこの辺のこの話ね。Okay, okay. So yeah, what we're looking at here is you can see this shows up on the bottom right of the screen, and it'll tell you the RT, which is your overall ping, right? So that is kind of an indicator for both Wi-Fi and wired. It'll show you the delay frames, how many frames are rolling back depending on your connection, etc. Sorry, that's the delay frames because of the connection status. And then roll frames all the way to the right shows how many rollbacks are occurring, like how many frames of rollback, right? And then the one you really want to pay attention to, obviously, is in red. And this is the one on the top is the optimal LAN connection, where the one on the bottom is wireless. And the one on the far right will これで説明するんだっけ？この一番右の。これ後の次のスライドですね。And the one on the right we're going to explain in a later slide, so wait a second, please.
でも今回基本的には Wi-Fi でも割とね快適にプレイできるようには極力してあるんですけど、やっぱりエラーの率はどうしても通信の方式上どうしてもエラーが出がち、パケットロスが出がちなので、ぜひ皆さんこのちょっとまた別の機会があったら、いろんなゲームで試してもらえば分かると思いますけど、有線の方がやっぱ快適なんでぜひ、有線に変えていってもらったらなと思ってます。
And so obviously, again, the game is playable on Wi-Fi. It's not like it's something that can't be done. But we hope if you do have the chance at a friend's house or something, if you could try wired and a wireless connection, you'll see for yourself just how different it is, because there's less packet loss occurring, also less chance of network errors and stuff like that occurring as well.
で製品版ではできるだけここら辺の表示の意味も分かるようにちゃんと知らない人にもこれは Wi-Fi マークですよとか分かるようにちょっとうまく表示するようにはします。
And of course, in game you'll be able to see whether it's a Wi-Fi connection for your opponent or not as well. The next one, should we move on to that?
Yeah, so you guys explained just a little bit about this earlier with the arrows, with the green and the red arrows. Can you explain a little bit more about how these arrows are super important for your connection?
説明しようか。
これはPC だけ関係があるUI ですね。
So this screen, the one we're talking about on the far right, this indicator, is something that only shows up when either you are playing on PC or your opponent is playing on PC.
でこれは意外とこの機能を載せてるゲームは珍しい方なんですけど、こう通信って、通信とかの仕組み以外でやっぱりゲーム側がゲーム機、特に PC ですよね。 PC が処理落ちした場合は割とそれが対戦相手からすると回線状態が悪いようなパケットロスしたかのように見えちゃうっていうのは、やっぱこれは鉄拳に限らずあらゆるゲームで避けられないところは同期型のゲームはそうなっちゃうんで、自分が処理落ちしてるか相手が処理してるかそれとも両方してるか両方してないかっていうのが分かるようになってる UI ですね。
This indicator is actually interesting because you don't really see it in many games yet. And this is because we wanted to let players know more information about what's going on. For example, when you feel that the game is not very responsive, it could be due to the network connection of you or your opponent, which you can see by the indicators we mentioned earlier.
Right.
This is actually showing you how your PC is performing. If there's slowing down on your PC or slowing down on your opponent's PC, not the network connection, but the actual machine itself, because that also respects the responsiveness of the game.
なのでゲームの赤くなったらゲームの設定をグラフィックの設定を下げるっていうのと、もう一個は自分の PC のスペックを上げるっていう目安にはなります。
So if you're playing and you feel the game is lagging, it might not be your opponent, it might be you, right? So you can then take a look at this, and if it's green for you, it's okay. If it's red for you, that means your PC is slowing down, so you need to go to the options and lower the graphic level or upgrade your PC.
ただし今回結構ハイスペックな PC でもエフェクトありますよね。だからゲーム中に出てくるエフェクトで、結構大きいエフェクトでさらに初めて読み込まれるものとかは一瞬その時にどうしてもどんなハイスペックな PC でも赤くなったりしてたんですよ。もうほんとコンマ何秒とかで、それは、 実は鉄拳ってロード画面で3秒ぐらいロードしてるんですけど、その3秒のうちにできるだけシェーダーをウォームアップの機能を入れてるんですね。実はプリローディングみたいなことやってるんですけど、それでもちょっと足りないみたいなんで、ここは我々の課題としてもうちょっと、シェーダーウォーミングアップみたいなことをもうちょっと、長く取るのか、別の方法、コールオブデューティーみたいに自分で選んで最初に読んじゃうとか、そういうことできないかなってことは今後検討していこうと思ってます。
And so another thing is the game, the effects are very over the top, right? So on certain stages or certain characters' effects, it could cause the machine to slow down a little bit as well. There's also maybe not that well known, but the first time that the game is loading a certain effect, that also it needs to load up first, which will cause it to slow down. So while we're loading the game, the loading screen, we try to load all the shaders and stuff that we need. But there's still instances where that'll occur for the first time. So that's another thing to take into account.
That's really interesting. So now that we have these icons for Steam, people don't have any excuses anymore. All right, next slide, everybody.
みんな言い訳ができなくなるよね。
あとこれがちょっと実は、面白い機能で、こういうちょっとチューニングできるっていうのはあるんですけど、割と今回珍しいのは、対戦相手と自分がこう例えばレスポンス重視っていうのとグラフィック重視っていうのを別々で選んでても、もしくは標準っていうのをどれを選んでてもお互いができるだけ影響しない範囲で自分の設定をちゃんと優先してゲーム上は、スムースにできるっていうような仕組みでこのオプションを入れてます。
So this feature is also quite interesting as you can kind of customize your experience by choosing to prioritize graphics or response. So, and this is supposed to just affect you and not your opponent.
で、ちょっと今回分かりにくかったのは、まずこの機能がちゃんと入ってること自体がみんなに、分かりにくかったっていうのと、あとは、グラフィック優先って意味がちょっといわゆる一般的なゲームのグラフィック優先って意味ではなくて、こと 3D 格闘ゲームにおいてはこのフルアニメーションなので、このフルアニメーションの、いわゆる 2D 格闘のリミテッドアニメーションに比べると非常にこうスムースかつ移動量が多いんですね、鉄拳って。だからそれで、少しでも、例えばコマ落ちしたりロールバックした時に、ちょっとブレて見えちゃうとか一瞬止まったように見えちゃうみたいなのを軽減する意味でのグラフィック、つまりアニメーションを優先みたいな意味合いの方が強いです。
So first off, many people it seemed in the CNT didn't even notice this feature was in a game. So we'd like many people to check it out when they have the chance next time. But not just that, we felt like it wasn't fully understood because there's something similar in other games that let you prioritize like the frame rate or the resolution, right?
Right.
This is not that. What this is it's all about, because Tekken is a 3D fighter, right? The animations are more fluid and they cover more distance than, for example, 2D fighters. Mm-hmm. So what this is if you turn on the graphic priority, then it's not going to be so stuttery when you have rollbacks or the connection jitters or etc. It's going to try to smooth out the animation as much as possible. Where if you prioritize response, maybe it'll look a little bit jittery, but you'll feel like it's responds quicker. So it's a little bit different than other games.
でなんでここって、それぞれ、いわゆるネット対戦する時の内部パラメータみたいなものが、入ってるんですけど、今回のテストでいろんなことが分かったしユーザーのフィードバックが結構多かったので、ここをもう少し、調整したテーブルを渡したり、将来的には例えば、もうユーザーが直接そのパラメータのテーブル自体を数字を入れて入力してやって、それをお互い対戦相手と自分が好きな、数字でやっても整合性が合うような仕組みに今なってるので、それもやろうと思ったらできるので、そこら辺そこまでユーザーが求めるかどうかみたいなところをみんなのフィードバックとか見ながら決めていこうかなと思ってます。
So there's even more parameters behind the scenes that the player doesn't actually see. Right now it's just prioritize one or the other, but we could actually have it more digital where you have various different stages of each setting, etc. So if that's something that we get a lot of feedback that people want more control of, that's something we may end up tuning before the release. So yeah, if you have any feedback, let us know.
まあなんでできるだけね僕らの方でフィックスしたもうこれがベストですよみたいなことができればいいとは思ってるんですけど、もちろんそれを目指してはやってるんですけど、まあ、ユーザーがちょっと触れる余地、ある程度アジャストできる余地はやっぱり残した方がユーザーも嬉しいかなっていうのがあるんで、まあ、そこら辺みんなの意見聞きながら、もう少しどうするかっていうのは、製品までに考えて、もちろん製品出した後もみんなのフィードバックでちょっと変えていこうと思ってます。
So obviously, we're going to try to, make all the features look and feel like we think is the optimal experience, right? But if users feel like they want even more options or more bells and whistles and switches or whatever you want to call it, they can, let us know the feedback.
Yeah, it was really cool because in the middle of the closed network test, Harada-san, you actually posted on Twitter about this setting and you taught people about what the different settings do, and there were a lot of people who appreciated that and tried it out because of that. So your responsiveness is super appreciated by the community.
そうですね、なんかコメントでなんか誤解してる人がなんか結局その処理落ちとかこういうセッティングとかじゃあユーザーのせいにしてるみたいなわけわかんないこと言ってる人いますけど、そういうことじゃないですからね。より快適にするために自分の PC のスペックに合わせて設定をじゃあ変えた方がいいねとか、自分の、プレイスタイルだったりとかもうちょっと回線の状態に合わせて自分のアジャストできる余地をあくまで僕こっちがオプションとして用意できた方がいいだろうと思ってやってるだけ。そういうことなんで、別にあなたのせいにしてるわけじゃないですよ。
So there's many comments in regards to this, and some people maybe misunderstand that we're trying to make the user the bad person of why they don't have a good connection, etc.
Right.
That's not the case. We're just trying to make the game as transparent as possible so they have more options to figure out what's wrong, so they can address it and make the best experience or the optimal settings for each individual user.
そうだから特に次世代機になったんで PS5 とか Xbox とかフィックスされた性能を持ってるものはかなり安定してるんですよ今回。で今回次世代機はだからそういう意味で言うとコンソールは結構逆に安定してて PC は結構性能によってかなりそこのばらつきが出るってことですよね。それがやっぱり今までの世代のゲームと次世代機の差なので PC ユーザーにとってはそういういろんな自分の状態がどうなのかって分かりやすいその目安となる表示とかっていうのはとても重要な情報になってくると思うんですよユーザーにとっても。だからそれをできるだけ用意してるって意味ですね。
So this is especially helpful for PC because when you're looking at the consoles, it's a set spec, right?
Right.
So it's pretty stable when you're playing between two different consoles. It's when you're playing on PC where there's a variety of different combinations of graphic cards and hardware, etc. And how powerful the machines are. So it's more of people can look at these tools and kind of fine-tune the environment, mainly for PC.
All right, now going to our next slide, the effect saturation setting. Tell us about that.
これはエフェクト結構もう慣れたから全然今のでいいよっていう人も多いんですけど、逆にやっぱり初めてやった人すごい眩しいとかあるんで、エフェクトの輝度を調整できるようにこれするオプションが入ってるんです。でこれもうちょっと製品版の時には、うまくアジャストしようと思ってて、標準を、もう少しちゃんとあんまりうるさくなくて眩しくないぐらいにしといて、そこからもう少しさらに、下げたいだったりもう少し上げたいみたいなオプションにしようと思ってるんで、今とちょっと見かけは、少し変わるかなと思ってます。
So many people have already gotten used to the over-the-top effects of Tekken 8, but some people maybe would like to dial it down a bit, and so obviously we have this option in game for them to do that. Right now the default is kind of very flashy, so we are thinking maybe as a result of the CNT feedback we might dial it down a little bit, and then the user can choose whether they want to push it up higher or if they want to decrease it.
これもだから使うモニターによってだいぶ印象が変わってるってことが今回のアンケートでも分かったので、自分のモニターに合わせてアジャストできる余地を入れとこうっていう発想でやってます。
And so maybe many people didn't notice that this is actually an option in the game. So next time you get your hands on the game, perhaps take a look at it, and you can adjust it for your own monitor or the environment that you're using.
Right. All right, guys. So we have been talking about so many cool things that we are actually running out of time. So let's try to get through the rest of these slides about the CNT because we have so much stuff to share.
時間なくなってきてるから
はい。
飛ばし
All right.
ます。
So
ま
let's
あ
get started with.
詳しい話はじゃあ明日言うとしてちょっと今日
So we'll have more details for you tomorrow regarding the CNT, fine, detailed stuff. Let's go with a little bit more light and fun topic here.
Yeah.
Right. So the top 8 playable character usage ranking in CNT. So what characters were used the most? So Harada-san and Michael are going to go through that for you guys right now.
OK じゃあ
見ていきましょう。
マイケル
So first off, we have in 8th place is Lily, right? So maybe I don't know if that's a surprise to you or not, but you can also tell that depending on the different regions, it's also quite different. But overall, she tends to be between first in some regions actually. So
なんか南米で人気があるんだねリリアね、うん
she's quite popular in South America, especially,
な
right?
ぜかはいじゃあトップ7いきましょうか7位
Let's go with number 7. Next slide, please.
ローですねでも
ロー
アジア人気がやっぱすごいですねローは
ね、ローもうちょっと高いかなと思ったんだけど。
アメリカでもね
I
ノ
thought
ースア
low
メリ
would
カ
be
もうちょっと伸びると思ったんですけど、ね、
higher, but maybe it depends on the region, right?
Yep.
Africa it looks like what, second place?
Yep.
Nice.
Africa's second place.
OK じゃあ NEXT slide please ジュンが6位です
So June is coming in 6th place, right?
これももうちょっと上がるかなと思ったんだけど、まあ意外と落ち着きましたね。
So Harada was saying he was surprised. He thought she would be higher up, as did I, because it's the first time she's returning after a while, right? And the story trailers that we showed off, it was Kazuya, Jin, and
Right.
Jun, right?
まあもともとアメリカですごい人気があるキャラだったんで、
But it really depends on the area, right? For example, North America, I think she's quite popular.
じゃあ次お願いします。はい、ブライアンですね。はい。
5th place for Brian,
まあ
right?
意外と、今回のテストでもいろいろ物議は醸してましたね、こいつね。
Yeah. He was it was a lot of talks surrounding Brian, I guess. He is a favorite of several well-known players like Ni, etc., right? And I think Harada's mentioning the taunt is one of the main topics for Brian, right?
OK じゃあ NEXT slide はい。キングはやっぱり大人気ですね。はい。
We heard some cheers from the crowd when King hit the screen.
King は予想通りですね。
キングは予想通りです。
Yeah.
大体いつも3位4位ぐらいには入ってくるんで。はい
This is kind of expected. We've typically seen King very popular across regions, normally around 3rd to 4th place. So, yeah, this feels about right.
はい。
So as we head into our top 3,
じゃあ3 NEXT slide OK 今回はバランですね。ちょっと
これ意外だよね、俺。
意外だけど今回のテストでは割とチップダメージでかなり猛威を振るってた。
風のエフェクトも結構かっこいいよね。
それもあってちょっとみんな触りたくなっちゃったのかな。
So this is a bit surprising. We didn't think Quaron would come up so high in the ranking, but his moves, he's got a emphasis on the low attacks when he's in the heat state, but also the chip damage he's able to use. But not also just his effects are quite cool. The wind-looking effects that accompany his kicks. So yeah, I guess I can understand that.
だけどみんなゲームバランスはもう全然変わりますんで、はい。
Game balance, don't worry about it. It's still a work in progress. So.
all right, let's hit second place then.
NEXT slide 2位はカズヤでした。
Kazuya. Yeah, that's fitting, I thought.
That's kind of expected, right? Because, he is, one of the title characters.
でも三島って今まで結構使いにくいイ
そうね
メージあ
意
るので、
外と三島が上に来ることはないんだけど、やっぱりデフォルトカーソルがカズヤに合ってるっていうのは結構それは大きいかなと思いますね。
It's perhaps that on the character select screen, the cursor defaults to him, right? So, because we were just discussing, he is a Mishima, which typically takes a lot of precise inputs for his main moves and the way he's played, right? So it is a bit surprising he's number 2 from a play style perspective. But if you're going strictly from the character styling and how badass he looks this time, I guess I can understand that. Personally, I used him the most during CNT. So.
All right, so before we hit first place, can I get some guesses from people? Like, who do you think is getting first place? I hear Asuka. All right, about 100 people just said Jin. So let's take a look at what our first place is.
Okay. はい。
風間陣
It is Jin.
そうですね。相当安定してますね。もう
He's very popular
ほとんど
worldwide,
1個だ
right?
け
ほとんどどこでも1位。
エイジアは人気ないんだ。
アジアでなぜか2位っていうね、不思議な。
So he's mainly first place everywhere except for some reason Asia, huh?
I wonder why. Second place to what? Do you remember?
Oh, in Asia?
Yeah, who was
I
first in
didn't catch
Asia?
it. Was it Kazuya, I think?
誰ね
アジアって誰だっけ誰が1位だっけ
アジア誰1位だったっけな。
確認します。
カズヤね。
はい
あ、やっぱカズヤだね。Yeah.
あー悪いやつの方が人気なんだね。
So I guess Asia likes the bad characters, huh?
All right, cool.
But yeah, I mean, what do you expect? He's the main character this time. His costume it looks incredible. His playstyle is tweaked a lot. The special effects I like quite a lot. He's kind of got partial control over the devil, and he can change whenever he wants. So you see the wing come out just partially during the special moves. His eye glowing, etc. He's got a lot of cool touch to him. So yeah, he would be my favorite pick as well.
That jacket's really cool. I feel like that's kind of like a you jacket. I feel like you could rock that jacket.
So next we got, so we'll be continuing this again. This was just kind of an overview of some of the main details we thought people would want to know about the CNT and the feedback, right? So tomorrow we'll be diving even deeper. So we got a bunch of data that we took on the back end, and I'm sure that all you Tekken heads out there are going to love to see what we have in store. So check it out tomorrow at 1 p.m., I believe it is, at the BANDAI NAMCO Entertainment booth.
Yep, not only that, but our BANDAI NAMCO Entertainment booth is super poppin' right now. We have a bunch of stuff. You can play Tekken 8. If you come back tomorrow, you can win, and you play Tekken 8, you can get a shirt, you can get a lanyard, you can get, well, we actually have an activation at the booth tomorrow where you can come to the booth, and if you are able to stay on the setup by not losing 3 times in a row, you can get a super, super limited Tekken 8 water bottle, and it's actually the only way you can get it right now. We didn't even make too many because, we wanted to be competitive, so we'll see you all tomorrow at the booth for both Winner Stays On and the Tekken Talk. But for now, we're going to take it to the pools. Guys, do you have anything closing to say?
今 Twitch のコメント見てたら、何のトレーラーもないのって言ってるやついるんだけど、みんな勘違いしてるけど、エボのこれパネルだからね。ね、エボの決勝ステージとは話が違うんだから、なんか俺らが出てきたら必ずトレーラーがあるって勘違いしないで。
So he's not supposed to look at the comments on Twitch, but we're past that. And they don't disappoint, right? Many people mentioning no trailer. It is Friday. This is a panel. Please keep that in mind. And we'll have more exciting info tomorrow. No trailer tomorrow either, so hold your horses.
ディープな明日のパネルもディープな話しかしないから、だから8をどうしていくかとかそういうディープな話ばっかりします。
So it's just more a deep dive into more Tekken data and background into the game. Maybe give you guys some insight on what we're thinking leading up to release. So chill out a bit, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy your EVO.